And roll call.
Trutchell.
Yes.
Prohl.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Ames.
Yes.
Okay, minutes are approved. Reports of council committees. Mrs. Malone.
Thank you, President Schultz. The Engineering Committee has one item on tonight's agenda. Item number 6, first reading of an ordinance to authorize Menard, Inc. to install and operate a temporary traffic signal on North Bridge Street. The reason this is a temporary situation is because our engineering department did not receive their plans until last week after they were already open. So it's going to be several weeks before we can get everything together that we need to make this a permanent. But I will ask at the appropriate time tonight to waive the 3-read rule to at least get the temporary signal up so we'll have a safety factor with all the traffic that is on Bridge Street of people trying to enter and leave Menard's parking lot. I also, at this time, would like to thank our neighbors up north, Pritchard Services of Circleville, Matthew and Jason Pritchard, for coming forward and cleaning off the graffiti on our Strasser Park area. These things are, well, it's beyond unfortunate. It's just unforgivable. But I do appreciate the fact very much that they did step forward unrequested. They did it on their own and got that cleaned off, and I do thank them very much. I would also like to announce at this time that the Engineering Committee has a meeting planned for Thursday evening, February 26th, 3:30 p.m. in the first floor conference room to discuss 2 of our new assignments. And that does conclude my report.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Patrick.
Thank you, President Schultz. The Utilities Committee does not have anything on tonight's agenda. However, I would like to announce I'm also having a committee meeting at 3 o'clock Thursday, the 26th, right before Mrs. Malone's, and that is to discuss item number 223. That's appropriating $6,350 for engineering services for Hospital Road sewer line. And I would also like to announce that the Utility Rate Review Committee did meet February 17th. There was no results at this time. We're scheduled to meet again April 7th at 2 o'clock and to get some more information before we can make a decision on the rates. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Ames.
Thank you, President Schultz. Development has one item on the agenda tonight, item number 2. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a joint cooperation agreement with the City of Circleville and the Ross Pike and Pickaway County Boards of Commissioners for the purpose of securing neighborhood stabilization program funds and administration of the same and declaring an emergency. As I reported at the last meeting, this is money that's coming from the Ohio Department of Development, Ohio Housing and Community Partnership, and we are Region 17, and this region is going to be getting funds to purchase low-income, foreclosed, or vacant properties through Metro or Community Action and rehab them and then sell them again in order to upgrade neighborhoods. It's also being used to demolish low to moderate income properties that are deemed too deteriorated to rehab. Properties that are under consideration are on the east and south end of Chillicothe and off Bellevue in the Johnson and Pullman Road areas. The total grant amount is $1,218,179, and Chillicothe will be receiving roughly $310,000 of that amount. And the money is to be awarded on April 1st. And this agreement must be returned to ODOT by February 27th, so at the appropriate time I'm going to ask to waive the 3-read rule and get this passed tonight so we can meet the grant deadline. And that concludes development report. Thank you.
Okay. Other committee reports? Mrs. Ames. Yeah.
Thank you, President Schultz. Finance has several items on the agenda tonight. Item number 1 is the 3rd reading for issuance of $200,000 of notes for the City of Chillicothe. We purchased a fire truck, and this is a pay down from the principal amount of $400,000 to $200,000. Item number 3 is an ordinance accepting insurance proceeds in the amount of $8,135, appropriating $9,135 to repair vandalism damage to flood wall pump stations and declaring an emergency. The Poplar and Hickory Street flood wall pump stations have been vandalized, and the repairs are in the amount of $9,135. $8,135 of this is going to be reimbursed by the city's insurance carrier, and wire was stolen and security system. We're going to be updating that, upgrading that to try to make that so it's not vandalized again. And at the appropriate time, I'm going to ask to have this waived also so that we can get the money for these repairs. Item number 4 is an ordinance appropriating $200,000 of HUD funds. This was inadvertently left off the 2009 budget. It was already passed to accept this money, and so I would ask that this also would be waived and the ordinance passed tonight. Item number 5 is an ordinance appropriating $400 to purchase drain cleaning equipment for the service department. We have to replace some equipment that's between $300 and $400 to have a plumber come in and clear clogged drains, and this is a first reading. And that ends the finance report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Other committee reports, Mr. Trutchell.
Thank you, President Schultz. Parks and Recreation Committee has nothing on the agenda. However, at our meeting last Wednesday night, we did discuss vandalism and graffiti in the park. It's almost to the point of we can't keep up with it. That's the reason why you saw the thing in the paper, why something was let go for a while. Well, you just can't keep up with all this. We just don't have enough help to go around. We just authorized insurance payment here of $9,135 for damage to our pump stations. You can imagine it's rampant. We need the general public to help us out. We need the folks to help keep an eye on that park. It's just too big for the police force to sit down there all the time. They have other responsibilities. So the general public's going to have to get involved. Thanks to the Gazette, who finally put an article in the paper about the problems we're having in the park. We need an update by them, an appeal by them. Also, the radio stations have to get involved to get our general public to understand the seriousness of this problem. It's very ethnic, at the least, and it's terrible, the things that you see down there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Lester?
President Schultz, I wanted to thank the police department for the drug bust they had in the city. And many people that live in the area have called to express their thanks because it has made a difference in that area since it happened.
Any other committee reports? See, Mr. Kroll.
Thank you, President Schultz. On the 17th, the Safety Service Committee meeting was held to talk about parking on 4th Street. It was, at that time, the committee decided to reinstate enforcement of the meters, but to pursue free parking passes for residents. And that was something that I had requested and has been now assigned to my committee. So shortly we'll be planning a Safety Services Committee meeting to discuss the creation of free parking passes for residents of 4th Street.
Okay, thank you. Other committee reports? Yes.
The community, man, we don't have anything on the agenda for tonight, but we do have something upcoming as far as the use of cell phones in the city limits. So we will let you know, and the public know, when we're going to have a meeting on that. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.